I, 66 female, have 2 children, Benjamin, 36 male, and Jack, 33 male. Jack is in a good place in his life. He has a good job with a senior position in his industry, a long-term fiancé, and a wide circle of friends. And while they're still renting, they're both currently saving for a house deposit. Benji, on the other hand, despite being the oldest, has not done as well in life. Benji's never had a girlfriend or a boyfriend, has no friends that he visits. He didn't give university a try, but left both times in his first year due to anxiety. Today he chooses not to work. Benji and I have been living alone for the last 6 years, and I support him financially. I know that the situation is not ideal. However, I've long since come to terms with the fact that Benji's a square peg trying to fit in a world of round holes. And as I'm getting older, I'm happy for his company. It's an arrangement that suits us both. I'm starting to get on in years, and recently my thoughts have turned to my children and what they'll do after I'm gone. I decided to update my will a few months ago and asked Jack for a meeting to address the changes. I let him know that in my updated will, almost all of my assets, both cash and property, will be going to Benji. However, I'll be giving him a cash amount to help with his house deposit, £10,000. My reasoning for this is that I know full well Jack can look after himself after I'm gone, but Benji will always struggle without assistance. He's simply never going to have what Jack has. Jack did not take the news kindly. He says I'm effectively punishing him for succeeding in life, whereas his brother has been allowed not to try and fail his entire life and is now being rewarded for choosing to remain an infant so he can suckle on mommy's breast. He said some more unkind things about his brother, and at that stage, I said it was better that he leave until he could calm himself down. On the way out the door, he told me that this was not about money or assets, but was yet another instance of me favoring and coddling Benji the way I've done his entire life. Not true, and claimed we were in an emotionally enmeshment relationship. I told him to get out. This all went down 3 months ago, and since then, Jack will no longer accept my calls. He ignored my 66th birthday outright, not even a card, and at this stage, I'm not expecting to see him at all for Christmas, so it'll just be Benji and me as usual. Other family members have since become aware of the drama and are telling me that my decision is wrong and that by doing this, I'm driving a wedge further between Jack and Benji when their relationship is already strained. Am I the idiot for my decision? I love both my children equally, but I can't go to my grave knowing that Benji will be out on the streets suffering without me. I know that Jack will never have to struggle like Benji, so I don't even know why he even needs the money in the first place. I'm frankly disgusted by his greed and lack of concern for his brother's future. You are the idiot. Complete idiot. You can't give one child more because the other becomes self-sufficient. You picked a favorite. That's how your son Jack feels. You've likely lost Jack, but you don't care, do you? As long as you have Benji. What makes you think Benji will make good choices after you pass just because you gave him everything? Furthermore, once he's finished making all the wrong decisions that mommy's money will allow and has nothing left, what happens to him then? If OP's concern is really Benji's long-term well-being, right now in the will, she divides the whole estate equally, including the sale money from the house. After all, it is far too big for OP's favorite son to stay in it alone and put Benji's share of the money into a trust managed jointly by a lawyer and Jack. Also, OP is 66, not 95. Benji's 36. He should be made to get a job, earn an income, and pay rent and bills. I doubt OP's estate, even if it's all given unfairly to Benji, would be enough to support both OP and Benji for the next 25 to 30 years, plus Benji on his own for another 30 years after that. I'm betting OP isn't going to change the will, and it's likely Benji's going to blow through that cash on drugs and God knows what else in weeks. This house will be foreclosed on. OP, you're setting Benji up for failure because you refuse to make him face being an adult. You're making sure your kids will never have a relationship with each other or any support because of the resentment you're causing. My daughter Gigi is always stirring up drama. She was a tattletale as a child and has unfortunately not grown out of it in her 30s. Gigi had this one-sided feud with my daughter-in-law, Deb. It's gotten worse because Gigi and her son, Max, preschooler, moved in recently. I will spend my breakfast and dinner listening to how much Gigi hates Debbie. Debbie's a career woman, and I don't know if grandchildren are in her future. We don't ask, but this one-sided feud is caused by how Debbie hasn't given my son a child yet, and how Debbie is selfish. Now, Gigi told us that she's pregnant again. This is shocking for several reasons, but mainly because I've never even heard of my daughter having a boyfriend. In the 2 weeks that Gigi announced her pregnancy, no father's been mentioned. I asked Gigi if it was a Christmas miracle about her pregnancy, and she went off on me, saying that at least I'm not like Debbie and being selfish by not giving you grandbabies. I was in a short temper, and I told her everyone likes Debbie more than you because she's just not such a miserable cow all the time. I would rather have a Debbie move in with me than you or your babies, because at least Debbie will work her butt off to help provide for the family. Gigi's upset because I'm not, quote, happy for her and my new grandbaby, who will now be stuck living with me. My wife thinks I'm such an idiot for saying that, and I should be happy for Gigi and not praise Debbie too much, because it makes Gigi do stupid things, like trying to get pregnant to one-up Debbie. I think this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I refuse to apologize to Gigi for what I've said. If she doesn't like it, she can move out. Not the idiot, OP. Your daughter sounds exhausting, self-centered, and honestly super shallow. Maybe your son doesn't want kids. Maybe Debbie doesn't want kids. Maybe Debbie can't have kids or your son. Either way, it's none of Gigi's business. If the only praise she can think of for her self-worth is that she can pop babies out, unlike Debbie, I'm terrified of the conditions those children will grow in. If she's trying to gain your approval by one-upping your daughter-in-law and getting pregnant, she must not know you very well. Your wife thinks you should not praise Debbie too much because it makes Gigi do stupid things, like try to get pregnant to one-up Debbie? I'm sorry, what? That sentence was so bonkers. Your wife is unhinged, and so is Gigi. The time has come. The day has arrived. The reality train is at the station. I'd be fuming if Gigi was my daughter. 100% Gigi is jealous of Debbie's life as a career woman with money who lives with her husband and not her parents while in her 30s. Gigi is a straight-up bitter hater. I tell her that it's time for her to move out and think about running her own household and providing for her children. It sounds like she doesn't have a plan to do any of these things, and she hates Debbie for having a job and proving that it's possible. Gigi needs a serious wake-up call. I, 18 female, am feeling torn about a situation that happened this past weekend. My stepdad is a huge football fan, and every Sunday, he has his buddies over to watch the game. It's been a tradition for years. I was asked to bring them snacks and drinks throughout the evening. This is something I've always done, so I didn't think much of it. However, this time things took an uncomfortable turn. While I was serving them, a couple of my stepdad's friends started making comments about my appearance. They said things like, my breasts are really coming in, and that I've turned into a real hottie. I was shocked and didn't know how to react. But what made it worse was my stepdad's response. Instead of defending me or telling them to stop, he agreed with them and added that I was a real hottie indeed. I was so upset and disgusted, not just with his friends, but more so with my stepdad for not only tolerating this behavior, but participating in it. In the heat of the moment, I stormed out of the house and went to stay at a friend's place. I didn't feel comfortable or safe being around them after those comments. I've been staying with my friend for the past few weeks. Now my mom is angry with me. She thinks I overreacted and that I should have just ignored them. She says that's how men are, and I shouldn't have been rude by storming out, especially in front of my stepdad's friends. My mom believes I should apologize to my stepdad for embarrassing him. I feel like what I did was justified, but my mom's reaction is making me second-guess myself. So your stepfather and his friends harassed you, and your mom is taking his side? You are not the idiot at all. That's just how men are? Well, you're the sort of person who gets upset and storms out. It's just how you are. Mom should just ignore it. Sounds like your stepdad and his friends are creeps. The fact that they felt comfortable saying those things out loud in front of you is concerning. You are not the person who should be apologizing. Judging by Mom's reaction, I have a pretty good idea where this is headed. Just wait for OP's next post. My mom wants to throw me out of the house because she says I'm trying to steal her husband. Your stepdad and his friends were ridiculously inappropriate, and shame on your mother for enabling them. Leaving was more than justified. It was 100% the correct thing to do. Do not serve these morons ever again. If your mother has an issue with it, she can figure it out on her own, or maybe pick up a tray herself. I hope she doesn't, though, because these clods should serve themselves. Do not back down on this. He is trash, and you don't give trash the time of day. Never mind serve it and its friends. My ex-wife, 28, Jane, and I, 28 male, divorced 4 years ago after 8 months of marriage. She was caught cheating on me. We didn't have any kids. When we divorced, I became depressed and focused on spending time on my project. And after years of struggling financially and mentally, I managed to start my own business. I'm doing quite well financially, and a year ago, I met Aisha, 25 female. We've been dating ever since, and I'm so happy to have her in my life. Jane got married a few years ago and has 3 kids, but her husband left her, and she's a single mother now. She's struggling financially to raise her kids. I feel bad for her because, despite her cheating on me, she was my first love, so I offered to help her out. I've been sending her money every month since last year and would sometimes look after her kids. Aisha found out about this last week and blew up on me. She said what I'm doing to her is also considered cheating and wants me to stop because she doesn't feel comfortable. She asked me if Jane had tried flirting with me, and I said yes, but I set boundaries and told her that I wasn't interested in a relationship with her. This angered Aisha, so she dumped me. I was planning to propose next month, and my whole world disappeared in a second. I tried reaching out, but Aisha's not responding. My friends who like Aisha are disappointed in me. They called me the idiot for helping out Jane because I don't owe her anything, and she's taking advantage of me. Am I the idiot? I don't get it. You were married to someone for 8 months. She cheats on you, and then you pay her? What the heck? Why? You owe this woman nothing. You're sacrificing your relationship to fund your ex-wife? Because everything about this is so wildly dumb. You are the idiot. She cheats on you and is rewarded for her behavior by getting monthly payments? Insane. This completely OP. Why are you supporting your ex-wife who cheated on you and her 3 kids by another man? Why doesn't she go after him for child support? And you've been supporting her since last year? The fact your ex doesn't feel shameful or embarrassed taking your money is telling. Of course she flirted with you because she sees you as a meal ticket that she can use and abuse. Where's your self-respect? If someone cheated on me, I'd certainly not help them financially, regardless of their circumstance after the breakup. I'm not surprised Aisha dumped you. If I were in her shoes, I'd be upset, angry, and baffled by your behavior and suspect that you're sleeping with your ex, plus disgusted at you for being a doormat. You're still emotionally pining for your ex-wife. Aisha's correct. You were cheating on her. My ex and I have been together for 2 years and moved in together for nearly a year. She was 32 female, so I knew she was really serious about starting a family. I, 30 male, also want a family, but I wasn't in a position to start one as I worked a minimum wage job, $16 an hour, which wasn't enough to pay for an apartment by myself or really enough to live on. She was in a middle management role and used to be an accountant, so she made 6 figures. She paid for more of the joint expenses, like food and housing, but I contributed what I could. I didn't have any savings even with her help, and before we dated, I was making it paycheck to paycheck with 3 roommates. I do have a degree in political science, but have never been able to find a job that required one. I had found a job that paid $24 an hour, doing government reception work, but it was a maternity placement, so I only stayed 6 months. My ex's family really liked me and treated me well, but I'm not sure if they like me or just like that I'm a man that could have a child with her. She admitted her parents are super obsessed with her having kids, and while she wants them too, she feels rushed by them. In retrospect, I think she settled for me because we were friends before that, and I think she knew I had a crush on her, but didn't say anything. She was in another relationship before me, and I think they were talking about engagement, and he didn't want anything like that. Anyway, my ex broke up with me a few months ago. She told the landlord that she wouldn't renew the lease and gave me 2 months to move, telling me we were over. I was shocked and felt it came out of nowhere. I asked her why, and she admitted she didn't want to be the sole breadwinner and that I wasn't really homemaker material, so she didn't want to struggle through life doing everything. I do my share of the housework, and I can cook. My cooking isn't as good as hers, but I do 3 nights of cooking a week. We didn't talk about this, and I felt she decided for both of us. I told her she never said she felt bothered by my pay, and she knew I didn't make much before we started dating. She admitted she thought she could handle it, but knowing we both rely on her income is stressful, and I'm not career-focused, so she would need to be the breadwinner, and it's not what she wanted. I didn't have a choice, as she said she was already looking into another apartment, and I couldn't afford this one myself, so we parted and broke up a week ago. I'm temporarily living with my mom, as I can't find a place in my price range. Her mom called me on Saturday and asked why we broke up, and I probably should have said something like, "We're incompatible," but I was pretty hurt and felt like I had no one to talk to, so I just told her everything my ex had said. She called me last night to yell at me for telling her mom because her mom demanded she get back together with me to have kids, as she's getting endlessly pestered by her that she's so old and not going to be able to have kids. I just hung up and felt a little bad because I kind of knew the situation, but I felt like if her mom asked, I could answer truthfully. But am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. You were honest. As long as you didn't lie, exaggerate, omit important details, or otherwise misrepresent what happened. If the truth is a problem for your ex, that's her problem, not yours. And even if you were still together, I think lying to her mom would have not been okay. She needs to figure out how to create healthy boundaries with her parents. This really has nothing to do with you. This is an issue that your ex needs to handle with her family, especially her mom. Come on, dude. You're not career-focused? What does that even mean? Dude, figure out something. Trade school, whatever, and better yourself. A lot of women don't mind if you don't make as much, but they do care if you don't have any direction or goals in life. Best of luck to you. Yep, poor woman doesn't want to do everything. Breadwinner and do the chores on top? OP, in his own words, is not good at homemaker stuff and only cooks 3 nights a week. I'm sorry, but it sounds like a mooch. No one is good at those skills. You improve those skills. She doesn't want to support a guy and also do the heavy load when they're kids. She did the smart thing. Who cares what her mother thinks? She could go to a sperm bank and have less work than to provide for OP. Get your crap together or die alone and unloved. Your pick.